Penn State's coaching search has turned into an absolute disaster. It has been over 50 days since they decided to fire head coach James Franklin. They have 0 commits for the 2026 recruiting class, to my understanding, and today is the start of the early signing period, and it does not seem like there's an end in sight, all while they watch their ex-coach recruit one of Virginia Tech's best recruiting classes in a while, as he flips recruit after recruit to the Hokies. When you fire your head coach during the season, the goal is to have a coach in place before National Signing Day, not still jumping candidate from candidate. I think we have hit rock bottom with this search as fans started chanting for the Athletic Director Pat Kraft to be fired during a basketball game this week. Where does Penn State go from here, and can this situation be salvaged? But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know who you think Penn State ends up hiring be their next head coach in the comment section below. When Penn State decided to fire James Franklin 6 games into the season, it looked like the marriage was going to come to an end anyways, or it was going to be a rocky next season, which is wild to say. Penn State entered this year ranked as the number 2 team in the preseason poll with national title aspirations. They returned a ton of key players from their 2024 roster that was a field goal away from playing for a national title, and it looked like it was finally going to be their year. But then disaster struck as they would lose to Oregon in overtime during the whiteout game, would have a major letdown against UCLA followed by a loss to Northwestern the following weeks. There were talks about Franklin being fired, but those seemed like they were just talks. I mean, this was the coach that had just led you to the college football playoff semifinals only a few months beforehand, and had led the Nittany Lions to 104-45 record, a Big Ten title in 2016, and 6 double-digit winning seasons. Since 2022, they were 34-8 with a Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, and Orange Bowl appearance, the latter 2 coming in the college football playoff run. Franklin had things firing on all cylinders, but the rough start to the 2025 season made everyone forget the success they were having. In 12 seasons at Penn State, Franklin had 1 losing season, with that coming in 2020, which was based off a call on a Michael Penix dive that could have easily been a 5-4 season or better instead of a 4-5 season. But fans felt like the grass was going to be greener, that Franklin, the guy who led Vanderbilt to back-to-back 9-4 seasons, something that seemed unthinkable before the arrival of Clark Lee, was an overrated coach who could not win the big game, and they could do better. I mean, come on guys, this is Penn State we're talking about. The school that is known for saying "we are" and for their whiteouts, something that is on my college football bucket list experience. This program won 2 national titles under Joe Paterno in the 1980s. That was the 80s, and things are way different now. Nittany Lion fans are quickly learning the grass is not always greener, and to be honest, it is kind of funny to see, because this program really is not needed to conduct many coaching searches, while a majority of their fans have been alive. If you are under the age of 60 and are a Penn State fan, you have seen 3 head coaches: Joe Paterno, rest in peace Joe Pa, from 1966 to 2011, Bill O'Brien for 2 seasons before he bolted to the NFL, and James Franklin. O'Brien and Franklin helped the program recover from the sanctions placed because of the Jerry Sandusky scandal. What no one knows is whether Penn State had nailed the O'Brien and Franklin hire. It's hard to say with O'Brien because it was 2 seasons, or can anybody win at Penn State? 57 of the last 59 football seasons have been coached by 2 different head coaches, in Joe Paterno and James Franklin. That might be a major factor of why coaches are hesitant to coach at Penn State. It also does not help that they fired their head coach following a college football playoff semifinal appearance, whose agent is the most powerful agent in college football. So let's go through the Penn State's coaching search so far. I can't believe these next words are going to come out of my mouth, but someone who has been great to follow through these coaching searches is Barstool's, yes you heard me right, Barstool's, Liam Bluntman. According to Bluntman, Penn State has talked to Urban Meyer, Mike Elko, Kirk Cignetti, Matt Rule, Marcus Freeman, Eli Drinkwitz, and Clark Lee, striking out with the active coaches, and there was an NIL disagreement between Meyer and Penn State. The Nittany Lions then went full court press on Kalen DeBoer, expecting Bama to lose to Auburn in the Iron Bowl, possibly leading to DeBoer being fired, and Penn State being there to pick up the pieces. As we all know, that gamble would not pay off, and DeBoer is not voluntarily leaving Tuscaloosa to go to Penn State, and he should be good for at least another season. Then, apparently there were talks with Lincoln Riley, but he would pull his name out of the race on Sunday, and finally there was the Kalani Sitake drama. I think every one of those names, besides Urban, had no intention to leave their schools and used it as leverage to get better situations at their current schools, or just seriously had no interest in Penn State. The wildest turn of events, in my opinion, was that Kalani Sitake situation, which led to some amazing memes this week. You had things being said like it's the Mormons versus the Amish, the Crumble Cookie CEO getting involved as well. According to some sources, there was a handshake deal between Sitake and Penn State, and had some people stayed quiet about it, the deal would have gotten done. But instead, BYU was able to get together what was termed the Mormon Avengers, God I love college football, to not only give Sitake the raise he deserves, but also get the Cougars football program the funding to build into one of the best teams in the nation. Guys, Penn State may have turned BYU into the next juggernaut. They will have funding compared to Texas Tech over the next coming years. The Cougars are 11-1 right now and are operating on a lower level NIL budget, doing more with less. What is going to come in the future is pretty terrifying to think about, but that's a video for another day. I love Sitake, but I don't think it would have worked out well in Happy Valley. He has spent almost his whole coaching career in Utah and went to BYU. He loves the school, and I think he would have just been leaving for the money. I mean, this was a guy who was making $3 million a year and is now making closer to $10 million. He is still making less than what he would have made at Penn State, which proves he really didn't want to leave. I thought it was hilarious that BYU fans sent a crumble cookie delivery to the athletic facilities addressed to Pat Kraft. I think there is some coping being done by some Penn State writers, as reality sets in that they may have blown it trying to spend the last 50 days going after whales instead of focusing on not just the big names. They watched Bob Chesney take the UCLA job. I thought he would have been a great hire for them, maybe not win the press conference, but could have been a great coach. Some may call him the budget Kirk Cignetti because of how closely their career paths match up. Chesney, who has coached solely in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, could have stepped into the job in State College far more smoothly than in Los Angeles. They also missed out on Pat Fitzgerald, though I think they more so dodged a bullet. So where do they go next? The name to watch is Brian Hartline, Ohio State's current offensive coordinator. The issue is, he is represented by Jimmy Sexton, to my understanding. Todd McShay went on to Bill Simmons' podcast this week and explained he's messing around with Penn State right now because Penn State let go of one of his guys, James Franklin, in a matter that he didn't really appreciate, McShay said of Sexton. And so now there's kind of sitting back, and every time they go to try to hire a coach or get serious with the coach, that coach who's represented by Sexton winds up with an extension or winds up going to maybe UCLA. So it's fascinating to see. If Sexton really is screwing Penn State because of the Franklin situation, then the Nittany Lions may have screwed themselves. Al Golden was a tight end for Penn State and went 59-59 while coaching Temple in Miami. He was Notre Dame's defensive coordinator from 2022 to 2024 and is currently the Bengals' DC. The issue is he was fired from Miami a decade ago after a 50-0 loss to Clemson, went 0-5 against Florida State, which won't get fans too excited. Golden was in the mix when the Nittany Lions hired Franklin. Then there's former Giants head coach Brian Daboll. Daboll hasn't coached in college since 2017, when he served as the offense coordinator and quarterback coach for Alabama for a season. Before that, he was a volunteer assistant with William & Mary in 1997, and a grad assistant at Michigan State from 1998 to 1999. He comes from the Bill Belichick and Nick Saban coaching trees, but has zero experience in the NIL era and 1 real year of college coaching experience. I think it would be an utter disaster. Jeff Brom has gained some traction, but it sounds like he may be getting an extension from his alma mater, and his stock has cooled as the Cardinals stumbled at the end of the season. There's also a possibility the Nittany Lions choose to punt and just keep Terry Smith, at least for a year or two, giving him a shot. Smith played for Joe Pa and is a longtime Franklin assistant. There are rumors he has a coaching position waiting for him at Virginia Tech, so the Nittany Lions will be forced to make that decision soon. If you name Smith the head coach, it will be viewed as a disappointment for the fan base most likely, and will bring even more questions to the table of why did you fire Franklin in mid-October if this was going to be the results. But hindsight is 2020. The real question is, can this roster, recruiting class, and brand image be salvaged, or is this the start of the downfall of Penn State football? What do you think? Who should Penn State hire to be their next head coach? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.